Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Superintendent Cliff O'Brien. I am the in charge of our Criminal Operations Technical Support Division, which includes our anti-corruption unit. Calgary Police Service has charged a 9-year member following an on-duty incident where an officer is alleged to have obstructed an investigation into a potentially impaired driver. On Wednesday, November 11, 2015, at approximately 7 o'clock p.m., CPS received a call about a woman reportedly passed out in a driver's seat of her vehicle with the engine running in the 300 block of Cranston Road S.E. An officer attended the call, at which point it is believed that he canceled the request of breath technicians. It is also alleged that the officer requested that dispatch recode the call to a suspended driver, despite signs of impairment being present. The officer then gave the woman a ride home and no investigation was completed. It is alleged that the officer and the woman knew each other prior to the incident. In November 2016, information of this incident was received by the Calgary Police Service Anti-Corruption Unit and a formal investigation was launched. Upon completion of the investigation, the Calgary Police Service consulted the Edmonton Crown Prosecutor's Office, which recommended charges. On Wednesday, August 23rd, 2017, Mark McCulloch, 44, was arrested and charged with 1 count each of breach of trust and obstruction of justice. He will appear in court on September 13th. McCulloch is currently suspended with pay on an unrelated matter. A professional standards section investigation will proceed upon the conclusion of this criminal process. I'll take any questions you have.
Can you say anything about the relationship between McCulloch and the woman?
The driver in this case was an employee at a store where the officer in his patrol area, and they had known each other for a few months. They met at a call that he attended, a theft call that he had attended.
Were they romantically involved?
I won't get into, I mean, there's still things now that are obviously before the courts, so I don't get into the exact extent of the relationship other than they knew each other.
Are you able to speak about the unrelated matter in which he's serving a suspension?
Well, the unrelated matter, what I'll say is that it was an off-duty incident, at the time, due to the investigation or several factors in the investigation, including including trying to protect the identity of the victim, we certainly didn't name the officer at the time, but as far as all the details around that, what I'd say is it's before the courts, and so I won't get into those details.
Sorry, the unrelated matter is also before the courts?
It is before the courts, that's correct.
So it's also criminal in nature?
It is criminal in nature, that's correct.
Off-duty.
And it was an off-duty incident, that's right.
Quite a bit of time elapses between the incident and the information coming forward. Why is that?
Well, the information came forward to us through an unrelated investigation that was being conducted, and as soon as we got that information, we received that information about a year post-incident. So as soon as we received that information, it was assigned to the anti-corruption unit for them to investigate.
I'm curious about the cancelling of the breath technician. Was he the first officer on the scene, or had somebody else been there and requested the breath technician?
He was the first officer there, here's what I would say. In this particular case, this isn't about an impaired driver per se, and certainly officers have discretion. We take impaired driving very seriously, and any police officer that's ever attended a fatality or a serious accident involving an impaired driver takes it very seriously and understands how serious that is. But that's, in this case, what we have is, or what we're alleging is that we have an officer that made deliberate attempts to deceive, to deceive, to be deceitful. And that's really what we're talking about, and hence the charges that we have. Police officers do have the ability to use discretion, and that's done every day in this city by officers, but it's not about that. It's about really what took place, and this particular officer's what he did to what's alleged is that he deliberately deceived or was deceitful.
I'm still puzzled by who would have requested the breath technician if he was the first officer there.
Yeah, I don't have who actually initially asked for the breath tech. I'm not sure. I don't have that information. So.
But it could have been a call from the public alerted the police to the call to the situation, and it could have stemmed from that before an officer arrived.
So it was. So I can tell you that that the members of the public did phone us about an impaired driver, did phone us about this driver that was slumped over the wheel. So so we did have members of the public that were there at the time.
How many officers actually attended that call?
I don't have the exact number.
Was it more than the one?
Yeah, there were more officers that were there. As often is the case, we will have officers that will arrive and will help the primary officer. So in this case, or in some cases, it might be helping with a tow bill or taking care of the towing of a vehicle. In this case, the vehicle was towed. So.
And was he one of the officers that were initially dispatched in this call?
Yes.
And you said he was the first there.
Correct. Yes.
And I just want to be clear. Your comments about discretion. You're saying this crosses the line of officer discretion because of actions intended to be deceiving.
Absolutely. I mean, the allegation in this particular case is that this officer deliberately was deceitful in recoding the call, as well as some of the other actions that took place in this particular instance.
Is he the only officer under investigation, or is it still ongoing?
Anytime we have an investigation, charge does not end the investigation. So there's always, we always have ongoing investigations. There may be more information that comes forward, and if there is, we'll continue to investigate.
Was the woman in question known to police prior to the incident in question?
What do you mean by known to police?
Was she, I don't know, we ask this question all the time. Did you guys have an ongoing investigation into her? Was she ever previously criminally convicted of anything? Did you know of her in some investigative capacity?
Right. I don't know that. And again, this isn't about that woman. This is about the officer and the officer's actions in this particular case, or the alleged actions of the officer. The officer obviously did know her and knew her from a previous call that he had attended where she worked. So in that case, they were in that instance, they knew each other.
And when he responded, he didn't have a partner with him, so one officer unit?
Well, I won't get into all the roles. There were other officers there, and I won't get into all of their roles. Again, this is about the allegations that this particular officer made deliberate attempts to deceive people with regards to this. I'd say this. We have almost 3,000 members of the Calgary Police Service, both sworn and civilian. Those men and women show up every shift to do service and provide service to the community, serve the community with honor and distinction. And when one of us fails to do so, it impacts us. It impacts all of us. It's disappointing, and it impacts us, as I'm sure it does to our community. So this is something that we take very seriously.
And was it the investigation into the other unrelated matter that is still before is the reason for his suspension? Is it the same alleged incident, whatever that is, that you were investigating when this information came forward about a year later?
That's correct, yep.
Any other questions?
So sorry, just to be clear, that during the course of that other investigation, this came to light?
That's correct, yep.
Anything else?
Okay, thanks everyone.
Do you guys know when he's next scheduled to appear in court?
September 13th.